Hey guys, happy Wednesday, our gymnastics day. Again, apologies for my sexy voice here. I lost my voice. But we're gonna have our classic setup here. We're gonna have 3 rounds for quality of 2 separate groups of gymnastic movements. So the first 2 movements, we're gonna go back and forth for 3 rounds, will be 5 slide-ins on the rower, and then 2 to 3 pullovers. I love pullovers, but let's talk about the first one, the slide in on the rower. So what you're gonna do is put your toes on the seat, right? Point your fingers out about 45 degrees, really push away from the ground, and then bring the knees into the chest and extend back out. Okay, so the challenge here is to keep your arms straight, really push away. Think like you're rounding the upper back. Fingers out 45 degrees helps with the wrist. You can try to lean forward as much as possible and bring yourself in. This is again, a challenging gymnastic drill. It's also gonna warm us up for something we're gonna do in the next portion as well. So 5 slides, stay in your comfort zone, really focus on the arms and the upper back, okay? From there, 2 to 3 pullovers. Pullovers are cool because this is like something that's kind of natural for kids to try, and it's a different way to get above the bar than just doing a bar muscle up. So let's look at it. So what it is really kind of a pull up and a leg raise connected, and then you swing your hips over the bar. I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so I do a pull, hips go high, my legs drop, and I'm up top. The fun way to come down is to roll forward, come back down, okay? So that's a pull over. You need to be able to do the pull, that's hard. A lot of people try to lift their legs, but you need to get your hips up above the bar to swing through. So a fun way to do this is to have a spotter, okay? So a spotter can help you get over, kind of grab your legs. But a way to develop this strength is gonna be just to do a pull up and a leg raise. So you do a pull up and then lift your legs as high as you can and then back down. So 2 to 3 reps per round of that. Again, have fun with it. After you do 3 rounds of those 2 movements, we're gonna do 3 rounds of another group. There's 3 movements here. The first one will be 8 to 10 strict dips. Now, if you do not have a ring dip, I want you to try to use the parallel bars. More stability, good solid range of motion, 8 to 10 reps, all right? We also have the rings, of course. A lot of people use bands on the rings. Main thing we always talk about here is good range of motion. So at the bottom, you wanna make sure that the bicep touches the ring. And at the top, you get a good lockout. And we always talk about that turning out of the rings. So all the way down, all the way up for 8 to 10 reps, okay? The next movement is a wide grip pull-up, all right? So we do wide grip. It's gonna be more back, all right? It's gonna use your back more. You can use a band for this, all right? But we're looking for wider than normal, right? You don't have to go crazy wide, but something you can grip on and still try to get that good range of motion, all right? So wide grip. Pull as high as you can. And you'll feel this will recruit some different muscles in the back versus what we do for our normal pull-ups, all right? So 5 to 8 of those. And the last one I think is gonna be a fun skill. This is 10 to 30 seconds in a tuck planche hold. Now, we're gonna start really simple, and there's basically 4 variations. Let's see if I can pull them all off. The basic one is a tripod, all right? A tripod is basically a beginner handstand position. So where the head and hands make a triangle and you start like this, okay? So I feel pressure equally in all positions. I'm learning to get balanced upside down. From that position, we can go to a crow pose. A crow pose is the same thing, except I lift my head up off the ground and I'm balancing on my hands. So this is kind of a fun, set up a pad if you're kind of scared of falling on your face. But again, now a crow pose, I can start in the same position and then try to come off and balance in that position. Now, I wanna make that harder. You're gonna try to straighten your arms, okay? This is called a crane pose. So you're still gonna put your knees on your elbows for this one. So it looks like this. Again, fingers out about 45 degrees. That'll make it easier on the wrist. Really working hard on your straight arms. Lean forward so you're gonna feel the knees touch just above the elbow, okay? Pushing into the ground, rounding that upper back, chin is tucked. Got it first try, all right? So that's, again, a fun challenge. Now, the hardest one, this is close to an actual planche. This is a movement we've been talking about of leaning the shoulder forward. Now, try to do what I just did, except your knees are inside your arms. Your knees are not resting on anything, okay? So you have to find some balance. Let's see if I can do it. It's hard, okay? I'm gonna set up, same position, tuck my chin, really push through, round the upper back, knees in my chest. Yeah, there's a couple of seconds. So that is the progression you can work through. So that is it for strength. Let's talk conditioning. All right, so our conditioning today, guys, been working on kettlebells on Wednesdays. We have kettlebell and a jump rope is what we'll need. The first movement's pretty cool. It's gonna be 3 rounds, 30 reps of everything. We're gonna do 30 Russian swings, single arm, and we're gonna switch arms every rep. So it looks like this. Russian swing and switch arms. Okay, so the movement's the same, except this really just exaggerates that idea that we're driving and getting power from the hip and the kettlebell's floating, right? And so in that moment of weightlessness, we're gonna switch our hands, okay? If you're not comfortable with that, feel free to keep your hands on for 30 reps. After that, we're gonna do 30 double unders. So this should be a number you can hit unbroken if you are good at double unders, so scale the number down to something that you're comfortable with doing every round. Chest up, focus on using the wrists, all right? You should be able to breathe when you do it, okay? Obviously, if you're just learning, you can do twice as many singles, but I always remind people when you're doing singles and you wanna work into doubles, do slow singles to try to get that same jumping pace as when you do a double, because eventually you're gonna try to work in a double under, okay? So 30 double unders, and then we go back to the kettlebell and do 30 push press with the kettlebell. The push press position starts what's called the front rack position in the crook of the elbow, dip, drive, dip, and drive. To do 15 on each side. If you're not comfortable with this, feel free to just use a dumbbell. So after that, you do another 30 double unders, 3 rounds through that whole thing. That's our conditioning for today, guys. See you tomorrow.